All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Garkadash, and the Heavenly Father. The true name is Yahweh, and his unbegotten Son, Bahashem, and then Hamashiach, Yahushai. Those are their true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, Lashwakadash, Little Tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders, Wa'akim Akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of prophecy updates as of December the 1st, 2024, on this Sunday afternoon. It says Iran foreign minister says situation in Syria is difficult. The IRNA reports. So I'm going to read that news article. It says the Iran foreign minister Abbas Akraki visit Damascus on Sunday, saying that the situation in Syria is difficult, but the government of President Bashar Assad will successfully confront rebels like he did in the past. Akraki was quoted by state media reports. It says another news article. It says Syrian rebels offer Kurdish and regime forces safe withdrawal from Aleppo. Hayatollah Tira al-Sham and other Syrian rebels factions have offered the SDF, Kurdish, and pro-regime troops to leave Aleppo safely, according to the al-Hadatia. It says Egypt hosts Hamas new Gaza ceasefire push. It says indictment to be filed against predator of attack in Netanyahu's home. French defense ministers to arrive at Lebanon to ceasefire discussions. It says President Assad palace invaded by the Syrian rebels. It says Syrian President Assad vows to defeat insurgents by force. Syrian rebels take over the Kiryas military airport in Aleppo. It says the UK maritime agencies reports incident of South Yemen's Aden reports Syrian and Russia steps up airstrike on Syrian rebels, the TASA says. Bring up that book of Luke. It's the book of Luke 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth, the disgress of nations, will perplexing seas rage one. Right, so we're going to be seeing that increase in the disgress of nations will perplexing seas rage one. The seditions, the uprises, and the uproars speaking the world, which we're seeing the great seditions among the nations, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And this is the book of 2nd Edges 9 verse 3. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes, uproars, people in the world. Right, so increasing earthquakes and uproars, people in the world. 2nd Edges chapter 15 verse 15. It says, for the sword of discretion draweth nigh. One people should stand up and fight against another with swords in hands. Right, so we see the modern day swords and weapons. So we see the seditions among the nations, invading one another. 2nd Edges 15 verse 16. For there should be sedition among men, invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor their princes in course of action stand in power. And this is Matthew 24 and verse 6. As we see what's taking place over there in Syria. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. Matthew 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. RT.com. It says Berlin warns against playing Russian roulette over Kyiv, a Russian-Ukraine conflict reports. It says pro EU. It says a pro EU protest in Georgia escalates. Live updates because I believe they on their fourth. This is the fourth day the protest is taking place over there in the area in Georgia. It says White House commented on nukes for Ukraine. Moscow has warned that the transfer of such weapons to Kyiv will treat as a nuclear attack. Right, that's wars and rumors of wars, just like I brought out that Matthew 24 verse 6. It says Ukraine trains soldiers. Syria. It says Ukraine train groups over there in Syria. Media reports. Russia fighting imperialism west and Ukraine South African politician reports. The pro-Western Jordanian president must go. Prime Minister reports. It says Israel hits weapons smuggling site in Syria. Don't play Russian roulette. Ukraine skulls reports. Beijing strongly dissatisfied with U.S. military sales to Taiwan. Right as we've been seeing increasing escalations been heating up down there in the South China Sea, right along with the Taiwan Strait. You know, as China been building their military presence down there in the South China Sea, right along with the Taiwan Strait, as they get it closer and closer to invading Taiwan. As I want to, add a sad note to that. And this is a news article as of December the 1st, 2024, and it reads, Beijing strongly dissatisfied with U.S. military sales to Taiwan. The State Department has authorized the sale of the Taipei of spare parts of the F-16 jets and radars valued as $385 million. China's foreign minister has issued a strong condemnation of Washington following the latter latest recent approval of a $385 million arms sales to Taiwan. In a statement on Sunday, Beijing emphasized that such actions violated the One China principle and undermining the relations with the United States. The minister's spokesperson stated that such infringe of China's sovereignty and security interests sends dangerous signals to separatist factions in Taiwan and strengthening peace and stability in Taiwan Strait. China is strongly dissatisfied and formally opposed to this and has lodged solemn representations with the U.S. side, the spokesperson aided. On Friday, the State Department authorized an additional $385 million in military sales to Taiwan. This package includes spare parts of support of the F-16 aircraft, active electronically scanned arrays, radars, and continuing assistance of previously approved equipment and service. China Foreign Minister highlighted that the ongoing contractions earlier comment made by the United States under the August 17 commute from the 1982 in which the U.S. pleaded not to pursue a long-term policy in arms sales to Taiwan and expressed in its intent to gradually reduce arms sales over time. While Washington officially adhered to the One China policy, recognizing Taiwan as part of China, it's simultaneously engaging in military cooperations with the self-governing island. Back in November, China's President Xi Jinping identified the Taiwan's issue as being among the key boundaries that the U.S. must respect in order to maintain balanced relations between the two countries. Bring up that Matthews. Yep, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, so increasing wars and rumors of wars. We see the escalations are heating up between China versus Taiwan. As you read that news article of Beijing, they was kind of unsatisfied with the United States approved sales to Taiwan. Once again, another additional $385 million of military equipment as tensions are heating up over there in the Taiwan Strait, right along the South China Sea, China versus Taiwan, that's heating up. And we've seen what's taking place over there in the Korean Peninsula as well too. China versus the Philippines as well too. What's taking place over there in the Korean, I would say, yeah, the Korean Peninsula. China, North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, the United States, that's heating up as well too. So these are signs of wars and rumors of wars. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not in trouble, for all these things must first come to pass, but then it's not yet. Matthews 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, different ethnicity groups and different nations rise up against one another as a nuclear escalations. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Rap so as it says once again, excuse me. Yep, it says Beijing strongly dissatisfied with U.S. military sales to Taiwan. Right, so that's going to spark up more tensions down there in the Taiwan Strait. Because keep this in mind, you still have a one China policy, and China still thinks Taiwan is one of them. So that's why they're building up their military presence down there, even if they try to take it by force to reclaim, the Taiwan Islands. Even though Taiwan been self-governing and separated from China ever since 1949 or 1942, if I'm not mistaken. So we're definitely going to be seeing escalations heating up between China versus Taiwan, as China getting closer and closer, building up their military presence down in the South China Sea, right along with the Taiwan Strait, as it's getting closer and closer to the Taiwan Islands as well too. And you have, the United States as allies for Taiwan, and they recognize as Taiwan as being a self-governing island. We know that kind of dissatisfied Beijing and China of that, And this is a news article, as we've been seeing the protests for the fourth straight time over there in Georgia, over there in the country of Georgia. It says this is a news article as of December 1st, 2024, and it reads, EU threatens Georgia with sanctions. Kaja Kallis has accused the Georgian authorities of using violence against protesters. It says the new EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallis has said that sanctions are one of the several options being considered by the bloc at the Georgian freeze essence talks with Brussels and crack down subsequent pro-EU protests. Protests have been raging in Tabasco since Thursday, when the Prime Minister Akaklia Kabaskalistis announced that he would freeze EU sanctions accesses talks until 2028 due to the Brussels consent blackmail and manipulation of Georgia's domestic politics. At Saturday's demonstrations, demonstrators shot fireworks and lobbied Molotov cocktails at rioter police, who responded to tear gas and water cannons and arrested scores of people. Speaking to the reporters in Ukraine on Sunday, Kallis took the protesters' side. It is clear that using violence against peaceful protesters is not acceptable. The Georgian government should respect the will of Jordanian people, she declared. When it comes to the European Union, then this is clearly has consequences on our relations with Georgia, she continued. Catalyst said that she had presented the EU member states with a list of options for dealing with the situations in Georgia, including the economic sanctions. We have different options, she said, but of course, we need to come to an agreement. Kabaska's Georgian Dream Party, which won nearly 54% of the vote in the parliamentary elections last month, favors stable relations with both the EU and Russia. Pro-Western oppositions parties, as Georgia's firstborn president Saman Zarbavsky has refused to recognize the results of the vote. Zarbavsky mandated in this month, but she has refused to leave office until the elections are rerun. Karzabadzas has blamed the latest both of the civil unrest of the EU politicians and their agencies, accusing the West of trying to orchestrate a coup like the U.S. engineered Maidan revolution that tops Ukraine dramatically elected president in 2014. Earlier this year, Karl Boskazis accused the European Union of threatening him with assassinations over the passing of a law forcing the NGO that receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad to register in foreign agencies. It says Catalyst assumed office on Sunday, replacing veteran EU diplomatic Josip Brazil. Previously the Prime Minister in Estonia, Catalyst is known for her adjudant anti-Russian policies and rhetoric, and has repeatedly called for more sanctions on Moscow and military aid to Kyiv. Under the leadership, Estonia becomes the first EU country to approve the mechanism to confiscate frozen Russian assets and use them as a compensation for Ukraine. Russia issues a arrest warrant for Catalyst earlier this year due to the efforts to destroy the Soviet World War II memorials in Estonia. Bring up that St. Mark. This is the book of St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. It says, "And he called them unto him and said in that parable, How can Satan cast out Satan?" St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. "And if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand." Right, so if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 25. "And if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand." Right, so if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 26. "And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, cannot stand, but have an end." Right, that's what we're saying. As it says again, EU threatens Georgia with sanctions. Kajia Catalyst has accused the Jordan authorities of using violence against protesters. It's the book of Luke 21, verse 25. Bring that out again as well, too. Yep, Luke 21, verse 25. "And there shall be signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars upon the earth, distress of nations, for perplexing the seas, raging roaring." Go to some more news articles. Try Air News. Good Chicago's hardworking bank to work for you today, so you can put your hardworking for your business, hardworking for your life. That's Republic Bank of Chicago. Your family's protected under our group, so I agree. They're free to enjoy their dreams. Bundle Life is up to 25% off home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a phone and find an agent at outback.com. And this is another news article about wars and rumors of wars. This is from airnews.com, and it reads, it says, Yemen Houthis target vital target in central Israel, spokesperson says. This is from Reuters as of December 1st, 2024. It reads, it says Yemen Houthis launch a military operation vital target in central Israel using a hypersonic missile. The group's military spokesperson, Yahya Sharia, said in a televised address on Sunday. Earlier on Sunday, that the Israeli militants said that a projectile launch from Yemen was intercepted before it crossed into Israeli territory. The military earlier said that sirens had sounded in a number of areas in central Israel following a launch from Yemen. It says the Houthis have fired missiles and drones at Israel repeatedly in what they is solidarity with the Palestinians since the war in Gaza began in 2023. While those are signs of wars or rumors of wars. Yep, Luke 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, right, among the armies of nations, wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Luke 21, verse 10. Then say he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Right, so nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. That's what we're seeing. Luke 21, verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilence and fearful sights and great storm. It says, and earth there shall be and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilence and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. It says the GCC leaders call for to halt to war crimes in Gaza and the end of Israeli occupations of Palestinian territories. And this is a news article from ArabNews.com. Another uproars of people in the world. It says Turkey-backed Syrian militants block Kurdish plan. Turkish security sources say. It says militants block an attempt for Kurdish group to establish a coordinated connection to Tel Rafah to northern Syria. Turkey-backed militants who are fighting in Syria. It says who are fighting. It says Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has blocked an attempt by the Kurdish group to establish the cordial connection of the Tel Rafah to northeastern Syria. Turkey security said on Sunday. It says Turkey refers to this group of rebels as Syrian National Army. The sources say that the Kurdish groups, including the PKK and the YPG, has sought to take advantage of Syrian government forces withdrawing from the parts of the countries under the controls of Assad forces. The cordial would have linked the Turkish Pale northeastern regions and Tel Rafah, a strategic area of northwest of Aleppo. It says Iraq. It says Iraq says formally support Damascus after militant attacks. It says an Israeli strike kills 15 in a Gaza. Cairo holds fresh talks with Hamas. It says Syrian militants expands offense after taking Aleppo. Iraqi says Syria security key to Middle East stability. Hamas military armies released new videos of Israeli hostages in Gaza. Israel hits Hezbollah targets in Lebanon days into fragile trust. Go to the news now. It says Syrian sends in reinforcements to halt insurgents from advance after seizing Aleppo. Well, that's another sign of wars and rumors of wars. So it's definitely heating up over there in Syria after that surprise attack of the resurgence of the rebel groups over there in that area. It says Russia, Iran allies to Assad aid after shocking rebel offense. After catching Aleppo, Turkey-backed militants attacks Syrian Kurds. Israeli strikes kill 7 in Gaza. UN hopes aid to key border crossing. A turning point in the conflict. Depletion of Russians. MLRS signals shift in Russia and war dynamics. I meant to say. Israeli strike hits southern Lebanon, but tension ceasefire holds. France considers sending militant instructors to Ukraine. And this is a news article from ArabNews.com, and it reads from the Los Angeles Times. As of December 1st, 2024 at 9:14 p.m. Pacific time, it reads, Syrian militants launch counterattacks in an attempt to halt insurgent surprise advance. It says the Syrian militants rushed to reinforcements to the country's northwest and launched airstrikes on a major city on Sunday in the attempt to push back resurgents who seized the country's largest city, Aleppo, in a surprise offense in recent days. The insurgents, led by jihad group Hatia Tahrir al-Sham, launched its campaign on the Wednesday with a two-pronged attack on Aleppo and the countryside around Idlib before moving towards neighboring Hamana province. On Sunday, the government troops created a strong defense line in northern Hamadiyah, and according to the British base opposition war monitoring the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights as they attempt to stall insurgents. Meanwhile, the jets pound the city of Aleppo in Aleppo, killing at least 15 people, according to a group that operates in the held areas. The insurgents of fighting has raised the prospect of another violence stabilizing for reopening the Middle East as a time when Israel is fighting Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah. Lebanon conflicts that has repeatedly threatened to ignite an even wider regional war. It also risks drawing Russia and Turkey, which is with its own interest to protect Syria, into direct fighting against each other. Get that Joel 3 and verse 9. Then I'm going to close it out. So, Prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Right, so this is being proclaimed among the nations, the Gentile nations of the other nations. And Heavenly Father's putting that warlike mindset in them, especially if escalations are heating up over there in the Middle East. Because you got the proxy groups over there, the resurgence of the rebels groups over there clashing against the proxy groups and the armies of nations over there in the area. So it's definitely heating up over there in the Middle East of Iraq, Syria, the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian territory, throughout Israel, throughout Lebanon. So it's definitely heating up over there in the area. That's why this is being proclaimed among the Gentiles. That's why the Heavenly Father is putting that warlike mindset of these armies of nations. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Right, so everybody's being gathered together over there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is over there in Western Asia. So that's why we're seeing the nuclear escalations heating up throughout the whole region of Western Asia. That's why we're seeing increasing of wars or rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Because all the nations are being gathered up over there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's decision. Joel chapter 3 verse 10, beat your plowshares and swords and plumbing hooks into spears, and let the weak say I'm strong. Right, let the weak say I'm strong. Well, these are armies of nations. These are proxy groups. These armies of nations clash against one another, uprise against one another. Now I'm starting to see let the weak say I'm strong. And this is Revelations 11 and verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly, which is Armageddon, Armageddon 1 of World War III. So the second will disgrace came to pass, now the third will disgrace coming quickly. That's why we're seeing the, Luke 21 verse 25, of the disgressive nations will perplexing seas rest born. We're seeing the nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, seditions, uprises, upward speaking the world. Now we're seeing the second world pass. Behold, third world coming quickly, which is Armageddon, Armageddon 1 of World War III. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying of the prophecy updates as of December the 1st, 2024 on this Sunday afternoon. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Karkadash. In the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and his only begotten Son, Bahashem, the name of Mashiach Yahushai. Those are their true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the last one Kadash Little Tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders, Barakim, Barakwaf. Until next time, I will say Shalom.